Alright, so let's go over your homework. I had asked you to do practice 6-5, numbers 1 through 15. For this homework, remember that the domain of arc sine, the domain of arc cosine, and the domain of arc tangent was between 90 degrees and 90, negative 90 and 90. For cosine, it was between 0 degrees and 180. And for tangent, it was between 0, but not including, it was between negative 90, but not including that, and 90 degrees. So let's take a look at this. We are going to be just looking at our special triangles and our quadrantal angles in order to solve these. Okay, so problem number 1, it's asking us what's the arc sine of -1, meaning what angle gives us a sine of -1. Sine is the y value of a quadrantal angle. That would be at 270 degrees, but that's not within our principal values. So in order to answer this, instead of saying 270, we would just say -90. That's between -90 and 90. Problem number 2, it's asking us what's the arc cosine of 1. Well, that means when is cosine 1? Cosine would be 1 right here at 0 degrees. And if you type that into your calculator, you'd get the same thing. For number 3, it's asking us when's tangent or arc tangent -1. Okay, well, that's going to come from our 45-90 triangle. And when is tangent negative? Well, if all students take calculus, we wouldn't draw it here or here because tangent would be positive there. If we drew a 45-degree angle here or here, we would get a -1 tangent. But looking at our domain, we need angles between -90 and 90, so we would have to use this one right here. That's -45 degrees. Problem number 4, it's asking us what's the inverse cosine of 1/2. We are talking about arc here. So cosine we just want between 0 and 180. And if you look at our special triangles, it looks like 60 degrees would give us a cosine of 1/2 between 0 and 180. For number 5, when is sine 1? Between -90 and 90. Well, remember sine is the y value, and that would happen right here at 90 degrees. Number 6, when is tangent -√3/3? And we're looking to see when does that happen between -90 and 90. So if tangent's negative and all students take calculus, we're not going to draw it over here or over here. And that's the same side as -1/√3, just not rationalized. So if you look at your special triangle, that happens, the tangent of 30 is 1/√3. So if we drew 30 degrees here and here, we would get a negative tangent. But tangent's only defined for the arc values between -90 and 90, so I'm going to use this angle right here, -30 degrees. For number 7, it's asking us what's the cosine of the inverse cosine of -1/2. Well, that's easy. We talked about this before. Those cancel. For number 8, I'll separate these. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. They're all the same thing, so those are easy problems. Let's do number 13. Number 13, it's asking us what's the cosine of the arc sine of 1/2. Okay, so what angle gives us a sine of 1/2? Well, that happens at 30 degrees. We're not going to draw the other one because we have one answer between negative 90 and 90 that works. So then what's the cosine of this angle? The answer would be √3/2. For number 14, it's asking what's the sine of the arc cosine of 3/2. It's not a big deal. We could just draw a triangle. The arc cosine would be adjacent over hypotenuse. And for number 14, actually, you know what? I am mistaken here. This is the arc cosine of 3/2. When do we ever get a cosine of 3/2? We never get a cosine of 3/2. That is an incorrect statement. There's actually no solution for this. Train coming by here. So there's no solution. Cosine would never be 3/2. It's just between -1 and 1. You could see I even started drawing the triangle and I realized that this problem's flawed, so 14 is no good. You can't have a right triangle where the adjacent side is 3 and the hypotenuse is 2. That just doesn't work out. Okay, and our last problem, number 15. Number 15 says we want to find the tangent of the arc sine of √3/3. All right, what angle gives us a sine of 1/√3? That's the non-rationalized version. Well, if you look at our special triangles to get sine of 1/√3, 1/√3, I'm not sure, so let's draw a triangle. We're going to use this angle for this part right here, and the sine is going to be 1/√3. All right, so using Pythagorean Theorem, we're going to have x squared plus 1 squared equals √3 squared. X squared plus 1 is equal to 3. X squared is equal to 2. X would equal the square root of 2. So we had to draw a triangle for this because it wasn't a special triangle. And let's see here. The tangent of this would be opposite over adjacent. It's 1/√2. Rationalizing gives us √2/2. Right, and that's your homework. Just make sure that you take the quiz tonight by midnight. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.